Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Welcome to TEFL methodology. And now we are in the fourth meeting. Okay. In meeting 4, we're going to study about describing learners and teachers. As usual, before we start the discussion, let me read you first the learning outcome. Okay. The learning outcome. The learning outcome of today's meeting is that you are expected to be able to describe learner differences and explain what is necessary for effective teaching. So basically in today's meeting, you're going to classify, you're going to analyze the learner differences, okay? Because every learner is different. So we're going to study how they are different, okay? Now, when we describe learners, well, basically there are 4 learner differences, which are, number 1 is age, number 2 is learning styles, number 3 is levels, number 4 is educational and cultural backgrounds. We're going to study one by one, starting from age. Okay, when we want to describe learners according to their age, well, basically there are 3 different ages. First is children, adolescent, and adult. Children, as we all know, the children do not focus on what is being taught, but also learn all of other things at the same time, taking information from whatever is going on around them. So you have to understand that when teaching children, it's not easy to get them focus on our lesson, because this is actually how they are. So you have to understand. Second is adolescents or teenagers. Well, when students, for children, like grow up, uh, becoming adolescents or teenagers, their intellects are kicking in. Now they can talk about more abstract ideas. They can tease out concepts in a way that younger children find difficult, but they can explain the concepts. And also, many adolescents readily understand and accept the need for learning of a more intellectual type. They start learning, they start learning and they start understanding why they learn, okay? And when they grow up to be adults, of course, it's going to be different again, because now they're often more disciplined than teenagers, and they apply themselves to the task of learning, even when it seems very boring. They often have a clear understanding of why they're learning, why they're learning, and also they can sustain their motivation by perceiving long-term learning goals. For adults, they're more disciplined because they understand why they learned. Okay, even when the subject is fairly boring, but they try to be consistent and they try to focus because they know their goals, what they want to achieve for their learning. Okay, learning style. There are 3 different learning styles: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And you have to understand, not all students are kinesthetic, but all students are visual learners. Every students may have different learning style. Number 1 is visual learning. Those who have this kind of learning styles, this learning style involves the use of seen or observed things, including pictures, diagrams, demonstrations, displays, handouts, films, etc. Students who have visual learning, they can understand, they can learn better when there are something they can see, like pictures. When you use pictures, when teachers use pictures, use demonstrations, the learning is going to be easier for them because they are visual learners. While auditory involves the transfer of information through listening to the spoken word or self or others. The students can transfer, can understand, when the learning involves the transfer of information through listening to the spoken word, auditory. While kinesthetic, it involves physical experience such as touching, feeling, holding, doing practical hands-on experience. The children who are kinesthetic enjoy doing physical activities. Levels. Three different levels are beginners, intermediate, advanced. As we all know, for beginners, for beginning students or beginners, yeah, uh, well, some adult beginners find that language learning is more stressful than they expected and reluctantly give up. However, if things are going well, teaching beginners can be incredibly stimulating. When teaching beginners, they know nothing. They have little knowledge about English. Yeah, so that's why, yeah, sometimes they feel like stressed out of learning because they have no enough background knowledge about the language. So that's why teachers need to be patient when teaching beginners. Yeah, but then it's not always that bad. Yeah, if things are going well, teaching beginners can also be incredibly stimulating. The pleasure of being able to see our part in our students' success is invigorating. Yeah, some beginners are also very enthusiastic. They really want to learn because they want to be able to use the language to speak English fluently, for example. So they will be consistent. Yeah. So they may start from zero, but they have strong motivations to study and to learn. So this is something that teachers should see in beginning classes. Yeah. Intermediate, it's actually in the middle of beginners and advanced. Yeah, of course. Yeah, in intermediate, yeah, students have already achieved a lot compared to beginners. They're less likely to be able to recognize almost daily progress. It may sometimes seem to them that they don't improve that much or that fast anymore. Yeah, we often call this as plateau effect, and the teacher has to make strenuous attempts to show students what they still need to learn without being discouraging. Intermediates have improved, yeah, for their English skills compared to beginners, but they're not that, you know, fluent, yeah. When we compare it with advanced, of course, students at advanced level already know a lot of English, yeah. So the skills are very good, but there is still also the danger. Yeah, so we have to create a classroom culture where students understand what still has to be done, and we need to provide goal clear evidence of progress. And they're also used to be very critical. So teachers need to really prepare well the class when teaching this level. Okay. Next is educational and cultural backgrounds. We all know that some children come from homes where education is highly valued, where parental help is readily available, and other children, however, may come from less supportive backgrounds where no such backup is on over. Older students, especially adults, may come from a variety of backgrounds, and as a result, have very different expectation of what teaching and learning involves. And teachers should understand this when teaching their students. Your students are culturally different. Yeah, they come from different uh, family background. Okay, and of course, it also influences to how they learn. Yeah, motivation. Students do need motivation when learning a language, especially English. Two types of motivations: extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic, which means that the motivations, yeah, that students have come from the outside. This motivation comes from outside of the classroom and may be influenced by a number of external factors, such as attitude of society, family, and peers. Intrinsic, it's the opposite of extrinsic because it happens inside, yeah, generated by what happens inside the classroom. This could be the teacher's method, the activities that students take part in, or their perceptions of their success or failure. How do we describe teachers? Teachers must have these things: personality, adaptability, teachers' roles, rapper teacher skills, teacher knowledge, and keeping up to date. Personality. You need to ask yourself what kind of personality you want your students to encounter. And this is And the decisions we take before and during lesson should have to demonstrate the personality. Yeah, this is not to suggest that we are in any way dishonest about who we are, but teaching is not acting at all. We do need to think carefully about how we appear. Teachers are also able to adapt, yeah, to have adaptability. This is important when the learning outcomes we had planned for look as if they may not succeed because of what is happening. So we have to be flexible enough to work with this and change our destination accordingly, or find some other way to get there. Your plan to teach may not always be successful. When it fails, don't panic. You have to be adaptable, have adaptability skills so you can still manage your classroom. Teachers' roles meaning controller, prompter, feedback provider, assessor, resource. Controller, yes, you can read, teacher stands at the front of class, detecting everything. Prompter, teacher encourages students, pushing them to achieve more. Feedback, teacher helps students evaluate, yeah, their performance. Assessor, how well they have done, or giving them grades. Resource, of course, yeah. Uh, this is where the information comes from. Report is also established in part when students become aware of professionalism. Yeah, but also it occurs as a result of the way we listen to and treat students in our classroom. For reports, here recognizing students, listening to students, respecting students, and being even handed. Teacher tasks. So what are teacher tasks? Knowing that learning and teaching and learning is quite complicated. Teaching doesn't just involve the relationship we have with students. Of course, as professional, we're also asked to perform certain tasks. Preparation, keeping records, and being reliable. Yeah. For teacher skills, managing skills, matching tasks and groups, variety, and destinations. Teacher knowledge for language system, materials and resources, classroom equipment, and keeping up to date. Okay. All right. So I think that's all the last slide for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'll see you in the next video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.